Good morning, it's July 26th. We're walking near Broadway here. This is Broadway back behind me. And there's a mall here with various stores and things, strip mall. And we're gonna walk up and down the streets here, south of Broadway. Apparently we're starting with one where there's construction. Also, Florist Disposal is what that was. Good noise here. Don't know what they're doing along here. Nothing like a nice quiet start to the walk. Now technically I'm headed out to the West Canada Country Club to write this morning, work on the Tangled Stars. Got to really knuckle down and get it done. I'm making good progress, but not fast enough. So I apologize if there's wind noise today. It's a bit breezier, and I still don't have my replacement lapel mics. I'm still relying on the mic on the phone. The idea is just kind of starting at Broadway and walking street by street like I've done in other neighborhoods. It happens that my niece lives around here somewhere. I won't point out her house when I come across it, but this is her neighborhood. So I was just down here for my birthday a week ago. Oh, I don't know how the roads curve here, of course, so I don't actually know how this is all going to work. I didn't look at the map. Yesterday I actually looked at a map before I set out so I would know kind of how far I could walk along the creek. If you missed yesterday's, I started at Government House, which is what we're taking a look at on the video, even if you don't watch the rest of it. And then I walked along the creek, which is normally what I do on Mondays. So yesterday was my creek walking day, way out much further to the northwest than I typically walk. And today is just my wander around and see what we can find day. And so far, it's not working at all the way I thought it would. The streets aren't flowing the way I expected. So I don't know where we'll end up here. Is this just going to take me around? I think it is. It's going to take me on a big loop. Oh, but there's an alley here. Maybe that'll help. Curves me back the way I don't want to go up there. So let's take the alley here and go this way, which is the way I do want to go. Nice paved alley, practically a street. I think it takes us up against the park there is what I think happens. That's what I was picturing in my head. Hard to be sure. We'll stick to the sidewalk now. Apparently, they have brand new ones in this neighborhood, which is nice. Pleasant temperature this morning. Going to be 29 later, but right now it's about 17. Very pleasant walking temperature. Someone obviously planning to put in fresh sod or something. It's what we need in our house. Our front yard is not good. probably work going on up this street as well. Sidewalk closed on the other side, so I'll stay on this side. That sounds like they're taking down a tree is what that sounds like, but maybe it's something else. Sidewalk closed. Somebody else working on their yard. As in putting in a whole new one, it looks like. Well, this is definitely taking us back towards Broadway, which was the general idea. Would have been an ultra-modern house when it was built, and now it's quaintly modern. Nothing like a nice quiet morning, and this is nothing like a nice quiet morning. What is he doing over there? On a driveway, it looks like. Oh, hopefully there's not too much more of that. There's a landmark you can always look for here. That's on Broadway, so we're just north of Broadway. And since we're close, I'll go, yeah. Right up here, I think. Where I want to go. Oh, this is Winnipeg Street. Of course this is Winnipeg Street. I knew it would be Winnipeg Street. I kind of forgot I had to cross Winnipeg Street, but now I remember, now that I see it. So no, actually I'm going to go left up here so I can cross at the line. This direction I want to go now, back to Broadway. Broadway is my touchstone here. Although I can probably jaywalk. It's not that busy down on this end. Yeah, no, a couple of cars coming, so I guess I'll... Like I can get across. Well, I've kind of walked over here, but I have never gone this way, so that's what I wanted to do today. Looking down Broadway there. Below the apartment buildings. One of those is a seniors type of place. Broadway is quite a Broadway. Now I have kind of walked in the area. I started at the Science Center and worked my way north, kind of the zigzagging thing I do, but I haven't done it as systematically as I'm going to do here. So now we turn on to Wallace Street and see where that takes us. So far nobody has said hi on Facebook or YouTube. If you're there, say hi. I'll say hi back if I can read the screen at the moment when you do that. All right, now we'll go south on Wallace Street. Lots of prairie lilies around. Provincial flower again. As I mentioned before. Oh, bold choice on door color there. Those are little tiny houses, but very neat and attractive looking. Post-war, as has been pointed out to me before, post-Second World War here, I think. Like the old house I used to live in, which was post-First World War. And it was about the same size. There's Kirk from Vancouver. Hi, Kirk. We're walking south of Broadway. I don't know what you call the neighborhood. Just kind of going up and down the streets, see where it takes us. It's taking us to 18th Avenue to start with. So this is Wallace and 18th, if you're following along in Google Maps. Yes, so the sort of big gray building you see through the trees way up ahead is the, well, it's where the Science Center is, but it's a Sask Power facility. And the Kramer IMAX Theater is over there too. So I've walked along the street we're coming up to a couple of times, but not, oops, down here, oh, that's pretty. That's a very pretty garden. Looks like nicely landscaped throughout. Some small older houses along here. One for sale if you're in the market. Looks like a bit of a fixer-upper, that one. Nineteenth Avenue. Science Center is just over there through the trees. Skateboard park right over there through the trees. I think Atkinson is the next one. Yep, I can see the sign. You can see actually that's the Kramer IMAX Theater directly ahead of us there, that gets into that silver building. My old stomping grounds from back in the early 90s. which is when it was built and opened. Now we'll go down Atkinson. Back to Broadway. And I'll just kind of keep an eye on the time to see how far we can get doing this before I need to head back towards the car. There's another one for sale. I keep thinking I should, reach out to real estate agents and say, hey, you want me to take a walk around the neighborhood? You could show prospective clients. Who knows? Somebody might go for it. $10,000 a walk? Does that seem reasonable? Or how about a commission on everything sold? Guess I wouldn't be able to make snide comments about anything. So mostly these older houses, but there are, as you can see on that corner, a couple of newer ones. As we cross 18th again, so we're at 18th and Atkinson. Some pretty flowers. And prairie lilies again. Or tiger lilies. I don't know what the actual proper name is. We call them prairie lily. Lilies of some sort. They actually come in many different colors, but the orange one is the prairie flower, the official flower of the province of Saskatchewan. There's our landmarks down there. Crow having words. All right, Broadway again. We'll go over another street. Woof, woof, woof. Other ones. And this is Broder. Maybe this is called Broder's Annex. There's some area called Broder's Annex, and this is Broder Street, so maybe that's what this is. I really don't know. I like to walk down the east side because there's more shade. Not that it's particularly warm, but big spruce. newer one, but made to look a little older so it doesn't stand out as much as some of the new ones do in these neighborhoods. Here's 18th again. Funny how that keeps coming up. And a jogger. There's always dogs, there's always joggers. Tall, skinny poplar. They grow like weeds, poplars. They grow fast. There's a couple of new ones tucked in among the older ones. Oof. Watch out for that driveway. So besides Tangled Stars, I still have to edit on, I have some nonfiction stuff too, but I have to edit on Shapers of Worlds Volume 2. I've heard from my one remaining author, and she tells me I'll have the story shortly, so that's good. I still have to write mine, but I pretty much know what it's going to be. So that's a start. There's another one for sale over there. Still on track to have it out this fall. September maybe, October for sure. Well before Christmas anyway. In both print and ebook. Audiobook, yeah, I don't know. I didn't do the first one. It's a bit more complicated. Some authors didn't give me their audio rights, so means I can't do the entire book in audio, but it is just short stories, so if you leave one out, it's not the end of the world. There'd still be 23 if I left out one, for example. Normally I'd say I'd read it myself, but I've still got some of my old books that I have the audiobook rights to that I have intended to record now for years and haven't somehow made myself find the time, so I don't know. Am I a great audiobook narrator? I don't know that either. I get good reviews and I get bad reviews on the few I've narrated, so it just depends on what people are looking for, I think. All right, we're now on some other street. Reynolds Street. Keep an eye on my time. Should be able to do three more blocks. Then I'll just walk straight back along Broadway to get back to the car, so I can go further. Won't take me as long to get back to the car as it's taken me to get to this point, is what I'm trying to say. Dog gave me the rights to Lost in Translation, Marseguro, and Terra Inseguro, my first 3 dog books, the audiobook rights, and I've done nothing with them. And I still can't believe I've done nothing with them. I mean, sure they wouldn't sell much, but they'd sell something, and I would have made a little extra money. But if I do it myself, you don't make a very good hourly wage unless you sell a lot of books. So what I probably should do is find a narrator on Findaway Voices or ACX, which I did for the Shards of Excalibur books. I was very, very happy with those. They're available as audiobooks, only on Audible. Speaking of those, I got book 4 print version set up yesterday, which is nice. Just one more to go, and then I'll have new print editions of all of them on Amazon. I still haven't set those up on Ingram, so they're only available through Amazon. But I will get them up on Ingram as well. I have lots of the original versions for Kato books available. So if I did a table somewhere, if when SaskExpo and Comic Cons and things like that finally resume, I will sell those rather than the new Shadowpaw Press editions, because I got them quite cheap. So every sale makes me a nice markup on those. I usually sell quite a few of those when I have a table. At least, you sell more of the first one or two and hope that people will go on to buy the rest. But sometimes I sell the entire series, which is nice. I usually give a deal for that. In fact, on my website, Shadowpaw Press website, shadowpawpress.com, I have a print deal. If you buy all 5 books in print, I give you a deal. Such a deal. It's a great deal. Unfortunately, I can't do much about the postage. Unlike Amazon, I can't offer free shipping to Prime customers. Alrighty. Only done about half an hour so far, so we can keep going this way. Still walking along Broadway. Walking commuter, the guy who inspired all this, who walks in Manhattan almost every day, when he walks along Broadway, it's a little different than when I walk along Broadway, but there's a lot of Broadways in the row. Now we're at Broadway and Edgar. Let's go down Edgar. See what Edgar has to offer. More little post-war houses. I know there's a park. Yeah, down at this inn there's a park. So we get to walk through a park at the end of this street. A pocket park, my niece, who lives in this area, calls it. It's not huge, but it's a nice little bit of green space. I've walked through it once before, I think. And somebody coming my way. I hate that. I'll cross over just to avoid them. Little brick house. Check out the pocket park. It's technically called Holland Park, apparently. Nice yellow house. Green, actually. Holland Park. It's just a bit of green space with trees on either end. And around it. I think instead of going down there this time, I will. Oh, there's no sidewalk on this side of the park. Okay, stick to my guns. Walk up this little piece of street. Check out the alley. Maybe I'll take the alley. Yeah, let's take the alley. I get that nice crunchy feet on gravel that I like. Usually I get barked at by a dog as I walk down alleys. They don't like it when they hear you going out behind their yard. All quiet on the dog front though, so far. It's a big garden. There are lots of veggies come over there. Oh, there's one. Oh, there's another one. I thought it'd be odd if I managed to get all the way down here without getting a dog barking at me. Hi. Alternatively, I could go up and down and walk along 19th a bit. I'll make that call and I see where I'm at once I get back to Broadway this time. No sidewalk at all in this little piece. Holland Avenue, and of course that was Holland Park over there, as you'll recall previously on Walking in Regina. Now join us for a very special all-new episode. And north again. See what the time looks like when I get up here to Broadway. Maybe I'll go down to 19th, walk along there to get back. Instead of just walking along Broadway, it's just kind of boring. Where are we at here? 35 minutes. Looks like it should be out in the country somewhere else with a big porch. I like porches. As I've said many times, they always remind me of the South. Besides, if you have a front porch you can sit out on and watch people go by, it's more sociable than sitting in your walled back space. Having said that, we don't have a porch, and we certainly don't sit in the front yard watching people go by. And yeah, our house never had that kind of porch. I always think of my grandmother's porch in Butler, Missouri, and these two old rocking chairs they had on the front steps. And you sit out there and rock or read. It's usually a little cooler than it was in the house. She didn't have air conditioning. That's the other thing I remember about visiting my grandmother, who was my mother's mother, in Butler, Missouri in the summertime. Boy, was it hot and humid. As I recall, she had flannel sheets on the bed too, so it was... You'd get a fan if you're lucky. A fan moving humid air, not hair, makes it remarkably more comfortable. But still. Had a big garden out back, grew a lot of her own food. At least some of that garden out back was hers. I don't really know. There's this big plot of land. It had corn in it, I think, but I don't know who it belonged to, actually. Maybe it was shared by all the houses around there. Drove by it not that many years ago. We went to a World Science Fiction Convention in Kansas City, and I got to show my daughter some of those places. My cousin, who's a farmer there, very much older than me cousins. I always thought of him more like an uncle, and his daughter, my second cousin, was my age. But it was cool to get back there. For the first time since my daughter was 2, so it had been about 14 years maybe in between visits. Oh, hello, crow. He didn't worry about getting too far away from me. I think what we'll do is we'll go up 19th and we'll go up Winnipeg and then around to Broadway in the car. That's how I will finish this off. Still probably 20 minutes to go here. So far only one person has said hello. Kirk in Vancouver. Nobody else from Facebook, nobody else on YouTube. So if you say hello, I will respond. Unless you're watching the recording, in which case haven't figured out how to do that. You can leave a comment, of course, on the recorded version once it goes up on YouTube. I delete the original live version and put up the higher definition recording. Wondered if I'd run into you around here. I am live. Yeah, well, I won't wait for you. Hi, birdie. That was actually my niece's husband and their baby and their dog. I was saying hello to. And no, I won't point the camera at them. Holland Avenue again. And you can see the open green space in front of us where the creek is, and Douglas Park and all that stuff, which I've walked through before. If you go straight down this, it takes you to the hill in Douglas Park that I've climbed for panoramic views of the city a couple of times. Not going that far today though. We'll just go up here to 19th and then we'll just walk along it back to Winnipeg, and then from there to Broadway, from there to the car. And I gotta go get to work. Saskatchewan Center starts there. We will just walk down this side of it now. Now, I think to stick on the sidewalk, we have to go down here. I'll go through the grass because I don't really care if I stay on the sidewalk. And it's more direct. The park and the lake, you can see a little bit of the lake there. University in the distance. Douglas Crescent, Douglas Road, Douglas Park. I presume they're all named after Tommy Douglas, former premier, whose house is on, old house is on Angus Crescent. I've pointed it out a few times when I'm close. It's just a few houses up from ours. Finally got a sidewalk up here, a little further. It's a jackrabbit. Now we start going by all the same places we went by before. Edgar Street, where I turned the corner by the Shell House. Reynolds Street. If you're an aspiring rapper and you lived on this street, you could call what you did Reynolds Rap. Ba-dum-bum. That amused me, possibly nobody else. Candy Cane Park, we've already gone by, very popular with the kids. The curve up there is where this joins the southern end of Winnipeg Street. At least I don't think Winnipeg continues on the other side of the creek. Again, that's the Kramer IMAX Theater over there. And the Science Center is kind of out of the powerhouse of Discovery because the whole place was originally a powerhouse. When I moved up here, they were just still working on building the Science Center. So our offices originally were on Rose Street, up in the warehouse district. Then we moved in here, and the grand opening was in '89. Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson were here for that. Back when they were a thing, not an embarrassment. And the IMAX Theater came along a little bit later. It was built while I was working as communications officer there. The red brick part is the powerhouse, old powerhouse, which is where the Science Center is now. Although not on this side. Sask Power still has facilities here as well. Flowers. All right, this takes us to Winnipeg. We'll take Winnipeg up to Broadway, Broadway over to the strip mall where the car is parked, and that will conclude this morning's tour. Really a tour, just a walk that you came along on. Can't really do much of a tour around here when I only know about two things. The tree came down there at some point. Looks like it broke, doesn't look like it was chopped down. And here's Winnipeg Street. And we'll just walk straight up it to Broadway and over. This one has very broad, well, on this side there's these really broad grassy areas between the sidewalk and the street. I don't know why. I'm sure that's city land. I don't know why it was designed this way. You don't have it on the other side, just on this side. But the trees, which are also city trees, are over here, so I don't know why. Most places, even if they have the broad grass, the trees are on the right side. Although I guess I do know one other neighborhood that is similar to this. I'm getting to know more and more neighborhoods with all this walking. Still mostly in the south though. Going up north to walk is a bit more out of the way, so I tend to only do something that far afield on weekends. I've covered most of the south part of Regina, everything south of Broadway Avenue, almost. Not quite. There's some areas that just aren't very walker friendly. Or just so industrial they're not even interesting to look at. Quinn Drive, and then Broadway. What the heck? It's a guy practicing his chip shots in the grass along here. Didn't expect to see that. Coming back the other way. Hope it doesn't hit me. I always wondered why they had these big grassy areas. Now I know. Right, here's Broadway, just a couple of blocks to the left, and we'll be at the car and done this morning's walk in the Broadway area, south of Broadway. There's the apartment buildings I pointed out before. This one I think is an apartment building, been there a long time. That one's a bit newer, and I think it's more of a retirement living, you know, where you can get some meals and cleaning and stuff done. I think. Although I suppose it's possible they're both like that. But that's the only one I've been in, and I'm pretty sure that's the setup there. Broadway Terrace, I think it's called. All it says on the front is suites available, so I don't know. Don't take my word for it. Ooh. One more block. All this grassy area here belongs to Balfour, the high school, which is just over there, which doubles as Oscana Collegiate in my Shards of Excalibur books that I was mentioning earlier. That's the high school that the kids go to, although they're mostly not there, what with chasing around the world trying to find the scattered shards of Excalibur. a little bit of classroom, school hallway kind of stuff, but not much. Mostly they are elsewhere. Alrighty. Back once more in the parking lot where I started. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching live, if anybody was. And if you just watched the recording, thanks for that. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.